Welcome to Dependable Flame, where we explore vintage petrol lighters, ashtrays, tobacconiana, and other useful mechanisms. Make yourself at home. Today we have a vintage 1970 Zippo Windproof lighter. See 2 marks on the left and 2 marks on the right. And the graphic is for Greenland. It says top of the world, North Pole, THULE, and the Arctic Circle. If you look up THULE on Google, it will tell you that it used to be called THULE or New Thule. Now the town is referred to as Qaanaaq. Qaanaaq. So forgive me if I mispronounce that. I believe that this lighter is all original. Obviously it's lost all of its paint, it appears, although it still has a nice looking graphic. I'm toying with the idea of having it repainted just to see how well that would bring this old lighter back to life. It is not in too bad a shape other than the paint being missing. The hinge is fairly tight and snug for a Zippo that old. Haven't heard from our friend Mario Bear lately, so I don't know if he's watching to verify that this is the original insert. I believe it is, but I don't know that for sure. I'm sure others of you are familiar with dating inserts as well, so maybe somebody else can tell me. But this is the first Zippo that I have run across that has a solid foam fuel cell. You can see pretty good condition, pretty good shape, still fairly white. There was just a little bit of flint dust contamination in there, maybe a little bit of rust, but from this vantage point looks fairly white, a lot whiter than this felt pad on the bottom looks. But while we got it here, the wick is separating pretty good, and I'm not going to cut on it because I believe that is one of the old asbestos wicks. So we're just going to fuel it up here and see if it'll light. That was a pretty quick 10 count. I did try to clean this up, and of course some of these marks where it has corroded or gotten gunked up or carbon, not all of it came out of there. That's alright. I don't think there will be any need to send this one back to the repair clinic. It does have a pretty good dent here along the top going down into the lid. I don't think you'll have any problem seeing that in the video, but it's not the worst looking dent you ever seen in your life either. At least it's on the back. 5-barrel hinge. Appears to still have maybe all of its plating. even though there is some scratching, scuffs, a dent, long dent right there that we were just talking about, maybe some other small dings. Not a perfect lighter at all, but an interesting one. According to Google or Wikipedia, THULE, or Kanak, however you pronounce that, is one of the northernmost municipalities in the world. So obviously if it's that close to the North Pole, that's going to be pretty far north, and I'm certain pretty well cold. But I don't know that personally. I've never been to Greenland, so if you have, maybe you can give us your impression, give us some insight on what it means to be at the top of the world at the North Pole, or near it in THULE or Kanak, Greenland, or even to be in the Arctic Circle. And I'm not certain if this is just a souvenir lighter for Greenland, or if there's a possibility that it might have been a military lighter. When I looked it up, I didn't see anything about there being a military base, at least a U.S. military base or anything like that. But I did see others that seem to indicate that they might have something to do with World War II. This one obviously not, being dated 1970. But I do think it would be interesting just to see, having it repainted, how this lighter might come back to life. You can see the high polish on the spines. You got a small dent here on the top by that scratch. The high polish all around the edges, and then the brushed chrome front and back. Like I said, the wick is somewhat separated, but I'm not going to mess around with pulling up and snipping an asbestos wick. So I'm just curious how well it might light, and looks like it lights up just fine. So a few interesting points about it. Like I said, I don't know anything about Greenland, but it is an interesting graphic. The fact that the insert has the solid foam fuel cell, which is the first one that I have encountered. Pretty cool. Nothing wrong with that. All in all, a pretty neat little lighter that we'll just see here over the next week or so. I got another one that I need to send into the Zippo repair clinic that I'm interested in having repainted, so probably won't be moving too fast on any of these projects, but you will see this lighter again sooner or later. Until next time.